Alright, so let's dive through into the bottom left-hand side. It is going to be our Blue Zerg player. It is Reynor. Of course, this is a lower bracket. These guys, they finished 3rd through 6th in their groups. Lower bracket means you do not get a second life. If you lose here, you are out. You are done for. So that's just kind of how it goes. As in the upper right-hand side, our Red Terran player is Dream. TL calendar has GSL in 5 hours. Yes, congratulations. You've just said exactly what I said. As I said, in 5 hours' time, there are GSL qualifier replay casts happening. And hence, it has confused a lot of people. Today. I'll say that one more slowly. Make sure we get it right. Okay, Reynor and Dream, best of 5. Let's just hope that this takes a little while, basically. Otherwise, we're going to have some downtime. Solo should just forfeit. I mean, Solo will play if I make him play. I don't want to make someone play. I don't want to make someone stay up and not play their best. When for us, it's as simple as just reorganizing it to another date. We'll still get to cast the game. It's better for everybody. You know? This is not some live event where we must have this played now. You know, kind of thing. So yeah. Sometimes TL won't list GSL even in 24 hours of a match. That's because the TL calendar is just a community thing. So literally anyone can submit an event to the TL calendar. So if you ever see the match isn't listed, and you know it's going to happen, then you should submit it. Because otherwise you just wait for someone else to. The reason that obviously GSL don't care about linking their site to TL, not like everybody else does. So GSL aren't out there making sure their GSL schedule's updated on the TL calendar, you know? Whereas for my tournaments, obviously I am focusing on making sure my events are on the calendar, etc., because, you know, for me it's a beneficial kind of thing, you know? So this is Reynor vs. Dream. Right, Spring Championship. Let's stop getting distracted. Let's get this ready to go as this Reaper comes through. A drone goes down. I'm just going to be seeing this Reaper continue around trying to see what is going on, trying to get some damage done. Queen, Ling's just going to push that Reaper down to the other side. So Reaper just going to hop down. Comes in, grabs a Creep Tumor. Just going to be able to pick that off right away. We can just go from there for the moment. I was going to see Reaper coming back over that right-hand side. Let's see the Reaper, a couple of Hellions moving around. As we get set up. Yeah, 2 Hellions, Reaper out in the center, a couple Queens out to the side. And this early game has not been all too crazy. As we have a Roach-Ron building. Sorry, I'm a little distracted because I'm just trying to make sure everything's okay going on from here and make sure that no one else has any other issues and that everyone knows what the situation is. But sorry for the kind of the slow start to this game. I'll be able to focus up a little bit better now and actually pay some attention because as far as I'm aware, now everyone kind of knows what's happening at least. So sorry for the slight hiccups, guys. These things happen. It's okay. We do see Hellions going to drive by. They're going to pick up 6 drones. So 6 workers being picked off already. Now, Fueling's taking damage as well. There's a couple of extra barracks coming through. That battlecruiser coming up in the main base. Something that Dream has done a little bit on this map in recent time. He even played mech after a BC opener on this map a couple of times too, but that's not quite what we're going for here. What we're going for here is obviously just going to be the BC into bio play, which we see, honestly, also a fair amount of the time. As the Hellions come through, put out a little bit more damage. And they're just going to pull back around to the right-hand side again. A couple of these depots continuing up, and there goes that battlecruiser making its way through into the center. So it's going to move on forward here. And just flying across the map, obviously this was a 3cc opening. It wasn't like straight to BC. So you've got to fly this across the map. The reason being, if Reynor had gone into a opening here which was going to be focused around Aspire, he would already have Corruptors and so on out. And if you've already got those Corruptors out, etc., then you're going to have some, you know, if you teleport the BC across, it's guaranteed to die. I say Corruptors, I mean Mutalisks, right? Realistically, you could open Mutas here. BC teleports into Mutas, it's guaranteed to die. It can't teleport out in time. So that's why you've got to fly this across the map, unless you're absolutely certain there's not a Mutalisk opening happening. As Reynor will see what's going on. That BC will get pushed out across over to the right-hand side. So BC getting pushed back a little bit. They come back around the upper left as our Hellions come around the left side. They're going to pass by that hatchery. See a few of these roaches just showing up in the game, pushing those Hellions away. As we've got our roach speed and 1-1 upgrades, all of this continuing. Our Baneling Nest into that main base as well. And again, just going to see the roaches coming in, trying to get a little bit of damage done. Just going to keep these Hellions at bay. So opening overall from Reynor was a little shaky with losing a few drones to a Hellion run by. And he deals with the battlecruiser very well. And he's going to run by just as units want to move onto the map. So might be able to keep his opponent back a little bit. He grabbed a Hellion, but can't justify sticking around there any longer to try and grab another. The rest of these Lings is going to come through the south. And, yeah, just sit down on a 5th base. So, obviously, one of the larger maps here, as you do see the units making their way all across that left-hand side. Marines are going to start stimming through. Tank siege is up. If you have a few biles going down, just going to grab that tank right away. Turn this around again. These few Queens are going to jump onto the BC, so the BC taking some hits as well at the moment. And those Marines pulling back through the top of the map. So, Marines back through the top, Medivacs as well, Siege Tank pulling away. I'm just going to be seeing that Battlecruiser pulling back into the center. Combat Shields, 2-2 upgrades. All of this continuing to settle down as the 4th Command Center setting up, and Roach Ravager comes in. A few of these Marines going to get lifted up, and they are going to evacuate back out through the middle and over to that right-hand side. So, just pulling these Marines back over the right. Couple depots going to go down. The Baneling speed is about to finish up as we go into our Baneling production as well. So all of this from Reynor as he's just been defending aptly. And Dream, what kind of game is he going to play here? You know, he's got that BC up. What does he want to do as the next step of this? You know, what is the next stage in all of this, basically, as we see these medevacs moving out that left-hand side. A little scan comes down. Just a couple of creep teamers are being picked off. This Lingbane force wanting to come through here, trying to go in and jump on top of this. How about Marines? All going to be forced to lift up in the medevacs, and we just about slip away from that one. I was just going to be seeing another BC from the top side. Now, the BC is annoying because of this, right? Because if you don't have anti-air around, you are basically going to be pushed back by that BC. So it really does limit what you can do offensively. So in that regard, BC has a pretty good start here. As Lingbane, Roach Ravager, etc. continues to collect together on the left. Marines and Hellbats on the bottom right as well, also just joining up together. As we got the rest of our bio army making its way over to the far left. Pushing along right now, we're going to be showing up and picking away at a few of these creep teamers. The creep teamers going down, the rest of this Ling Roach Ravager force back into the middle of the map. Got that BC setting up and yeah, moving into the center here. Try and figure out what the next step of this is going to be. As it looks as though Dream just wants to go pushing on forward. I mean, there's an Ultra Cavern coming up, Adrenal Glands, and 2-2 upgrades. So, Reynor obviously is not too afraid. He's very happy when set in what his next step is. Dream gets a 4th base up, starts his own 3-3 upgrades. Just going to see a little bit of bio stemming forward already and seeing if that can get on top of anything here. A couple of tanks will siege up. The Ling Bane going to pull back up the right-hand side. Just going to run through, get on top of the bunker, get on top of the sensor tower as well. Bunker is going to fall. 9 SCVs already going down to this. I mean, other SCVs are just vulnerable as well. As we see 16 killed now. At the same time, does Reynor have enough to defend on the left? Not really. Not just yet, at least. And he's also being hit by a drop bottom right. So he is losing a hatch. He's losing a few drones. Obviously, at least he's done a lot of economic damage across the map with them workers killed. But yeah, a tougher moment or two for Reynor as he absolutely ends up taking some hits that he couldn't really handle. Now Ling's going to stream back up and running through here. Going to jump in on top of this. Roaches, Banes, Queens, Lings. All of this running through as Reynor looks for the big cleanup, and he is going to get it. He's going to force Dream to lift up and back away. Of course, this game's getting better for Reynor in the sense of Ultras are coming out, Vipers are coming out. His tech is increasing, so he is getting into a better and better position right now as a few more STVs go down. Another little clip of run by connecting. Rest of this Ling Roach Ravager is still coming through into the center as well. It's just joining up with this. As we've got ourselves that Spire coming into the main base. 3-3 upgrades coming through. Here come those Banes, just going to roll on into this depot wall. And a couple of additional depots going down as well. So 2 more depots just being picked off at the end there. As the Bio unit's going to come through. Queen gets taken down already. Comes the Ling Ultra Force, Roaches, and Stone as well, also making their way up as Bio Army continues to push. And this is the first real test for this army of Reynor. Can the Ultras do enough to help him out? Dream will probably need to look to tech behind this, right? I mean, I think right now it's like, okay, this army's alright, but if you don't tech behind this into Ghost, etc., you're going to start having a much tougher time. Like, the tank count is what he's really relying on to get so much done. As we come over here, we see a Queen already floating to the surface as this BC trade happens. On the bottom side, you see a Viper taking a lot of energy, somehow survives. The Blinding Clouds went down, and a Parasitic Bomb into the Medivacs, which is continuing to splash in a lot of damage at the moment. That might not kill anything right now, but it's going to make units very low HP for later. And if those Medivacs don't get repaired, that is absolutely going to be a big target. As well, we're going to see the rest of the Bio from the bottom side there just getting picked off. These Banes still rolling through, a few of these Marines getting taken down. And the rest of this Bio Force showing up as well. So, Bio Army still coming through now. Just going to be seeing the push of Dream back over that left-hand side. Additional Banes on the way in. Couple Ultras coming up. Corruptors coming through. I'm going to take a turn once again here. Have a look to see what we can perhaps get done as Banes are going to roll on forward. A couple of Liberators building as well with the Ultra. Trying to get up on top of this at the same time. Massive run by as these Lings run through for a bunch of kills. SCVs and all sorts going down there. They continue to give chase now for Reynor running through the center of the map. Bane's connecting in. And Dream is going to get sieged up on that high ground as the Lings continue through. 13 workers going down. So another 13 workers being picked off right there. Just going to be seeing the Lings look as though, yeah, they are going to go back in from the right-hand side. And not really have the best of luck there either. On the top side, Lings, Banes, and Ultras are connecting. And this base is denied. And obviously this is just eco damage that Dream needs to pounce back. You know, he needs to pounce now. It's eco damage you don't really recover from easily. His army as it stands is massive. So he needs to put his army size into use here and get something done. As he pushes in the bottom side, he's going for this hatchery. We see both hatcheries on this bottom side in some trouble. As the Bane's trying to roll through into this, the Bio's just going to keep on trading out. Can Reynor clean this army up? I mean, the Ultras are still pretty healthy, and I think that's the issue, is that these Ultras are pretty chunky. They're going to have a lot of hit points, and there's reinforcements streaming in from behind it. Dream is going to run out of stuff here quite, at the end of the day. And Reynor is going to pick up the first map of this best of 5. Alrighty, diving into Oxide. Let's see what's going to happen as we kick this off. We have in the upper right-hand side, it's going to be our blue Zerg player who does win out in game number 1. Takes that 1-0 lead. It is Reynor. Is it unfair that he gets to practice against Clem? Feels pretty sick when you get to practice against one of the very best in the business, huh? Bottom left-hand side is going to be the red Terran player. This is Dream. As we settle down into game number 2 of our best of 5. Of course, Dream's map pick, his server preference here, his best chance of probably getting a map on the scoreboard. So let's see what happens with that. There's no stream delay. I didn't update the command yet. Hang on. Edit command. Delay. No stream delay today. Magic Gas and Pool, Reaper expansion from Dream. Let's see what he goes into. I think one of the problems for Dream last game was, I don't think the map is his friend. Obviously, those run-bys did a bit too much damage, but honestly, I didn't really see the value in the BC in that game. You know, even later on, it didn't really, like, a couple of times it showed up. I think the one time we really saw that BC being truly annoying was when the BC was hitting those Ravages and stuff. So you saw the BC hitting like a few of those units and chasing those away, and I feel like that was like the only moment the BC was truly an issue, because after that, yeah, sure, some queens showed up to push it back at 1 or 2 times, but that was kind of it, you know, like, and that's a big investment early game, and it slows down a lot of the rest of your early game. And of course, you killed a few drones with the initial Hellion run by, etc., and that helps. I wonder if that advantage is just lost on the BC, which just then didn't do anything for so long. Of course, it keeps you very safe. Reynor gets aggressive. It's got other benefits too, but I mean, we're talking about highest levels of play, and seeing a BC, huge investment, not really do much is definitely something that's going to, you know, take away from you a lot of the time. The second speed starts up. We do have a queen coming through Starport in the main base as a factory will drop down onto that reactor. So factory drops onto the reactor here. A couple of Hellions are going to start producing. The barracks of Dream is going to fly off over to the side. As that OV makes its way around the south. And just going to be seeing the Starport, the tech lab on the racks. All of this getting set up and ready to go. This one drone of Reynor is also going to make its way across down into the natural and go from here. Gonna mine up a little bit, gain OV out the front, crypt spread pushing out, and we get all of this set up and ready to go. And as Viking hangs around the main base, there's a couple of Marines try and get rid of the Overlord. If the Marine doesn't, then the Viking will. But it is nice to just stop to stop showing what's coming out of that starport for a moment or two longer, because now you don't quite know as Reynor, is this a Liberator I have to deal with? Is this a potentially medevac? You know, it just denies that info that few extra seconds, and that goes, you know, it goes a little way. Gonna go into, ooh, wow, I was gonna say, this is a setup obviously to go into like a 3rd CC now, but actually that's gonna be an additional barracks. 2 additional barracks off of 2 bases. And that is much more aggressive than what you would ever usually see in this matchup. So, what the hell is the plan right now? It's a good question. I don't really know just yet what the plan is. Hellions picking away at the rocks. That Overlord goes down. Reynor will end up being supply blocked. This Viking's going to come back around. Going to work its way to the right-hand side here. It's going to work its way to the right. A couple of creep teamers at the front are being picked off as well. Viking is going to get picked off. So Viking going down again, a couple of racks coming through. Stimpack is building, and the +1 attack upgrade coming in on the back of this engineering base. So all of this readying to go with the queens. Still up around that top side. A few more lings coming out. Drones on the way. Extractors building. Everything you kind of expect to see at the moment is just going to go into barracks number 4 and 5. So now we're 5 racks on 2 bases. And this is going to be very, very intriguing. So this is really just like a 2-base all-in from Dream. On Ox side, one of the Terran favorite maps, he's going to put it all on him being able to win off of a 2-base attack, a 2-base setup. And that seems pretty tough, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. It seems very tough to try and make that work. So I guess we'll see as our Hellions trying to rotate back around to the left here and start to get rid of a few of these creep tumors. So a little bit of creep spread being cleaned out. Here come a couple of queens showing up. Gonna push these Hellions down. And the other Hellions on the right side actually come through, and that's another dead drone. Poor little drone, he just got burnt to a crisp trying to be. All he wanted to be was a hatchery. Why we gotta go out here and kill drones' dreams, you know? Years in the future, we'll be asking, why aren't any, why don't any drones want to be hatcheries anymore? Well, this is probably why. Because there just isn't proper safety protocols in place. And so young drones everywhere are being deterred from joining the Become a Hatchery program. You know? Unbelievable. Alright, here we go. Reynor, 66 drones, no upgrades, no Bane speed. This, my friends, is what I call Reynor being dead. So, if Reynor wins this, it's a freaking miracle. He has nothing he needs to deal with this 2-base 5 racks. There's just nothing here at all. It's too many workers. The upgrades are too late on everything. I'm not sure why he doesn't have melee or Bane speed. Usually you have either upgrades or the Baneling speed ready to go. This is just having none of them. And as you can see, he just completely melts under this pressure. He was not prepared in the slightest. Dream is going to take game 2. And we are going to get exciting. As we got in the top left-hand side, the blue Zerg player, again, just did not know what the hell was going on in that last game, and hence unable to prepare, etc. And that's the sort of strength of the opposing build. This is Reynor in the top left-hand side, and clearly not afraid of doing anything at all in the bottom right. He's happy to change this up and make this wild. It is Dream in that bottom right corner. Yo, thank you so much. First of all, Port came in with a 47-month resub on the Prime, almost 4 years. Freaking hell yeah, thank you so much for that. And SC2 Year dropping the 10-month resub on the Prime as well. As we get this going. Full first opening. As we get this running. So pool coming up. And that ready to go. Overlord pressing out the center. And hatchery is going to go down on the natural expansion. Just going to get that set up in the early moments here. So just getting this ready to roll. Freaking, so... never mind. I think at the start of this game, Reynor tabbed out and messaged me on Skype. Yeah, I got a message from him like a minute ago saying, is the next match today? I'm like, tab into the game and play. There's going to be no next match for you today, no matter what if you lose. Hello? Overlord in the bottom right, we do see the Reaper of Dream making its way through the center of the map. They're heading up to the upper left hand as we get this ready to roll. So this is just a pool first. It's not too aggressive. It's your typical pool first into hatch. This is 6 lings, which is the more aggressive side of it. And as the Reaper goes across and realizes it's pool first, no SCV scout meant he didn't know. Now these lings get maximum delay on this CC because the Reaper's going to take a while to come back. One Marine is going to not defend this without SCV aid, and that's going to be 1 SCV already down. Make that 2, make that 3. Oh no! That's way more damage than it should be. He nearly got a 4th SCV. And all of that comes along with the delay on this natural command center, which is still not currently building. So Oh no, Dream. Remember your CC, Bood? I was gonna say bro and then dude. Brood. It's like a bro dude. He's gonna get it down and building again now, but yeah, that was horrible. That was not what you wanted, and not able to pull the SCVs back in time definitely hurts as well. Reaper back out into the center. As the starboard comes up into the main base, getting that ready. That's going to be seeing the hatch setting up on the third as the queen. Let's start fighting against this Reaper. Another grenade going down. This queen going to get bopped off to the side. And just going to be seen as Zergling speed still on the way. A couple of queens going to chase that Reaper. Out into the center. Reaper into the middle of the map, moving it around. Viking on the way, a couple of Hellions on the way. The command center finishing in the main, so we're going to have 3 CC here in the fairly near future. Get this ready to begin. As, yeah, I mean, like I say, 3 SCV is just a lot more than you want to lose to this, and it just means you're down a lot further than you want. Yeah, okay, it's 6 lings made, but that lost mining time that comes into effect, right? All these little things just add up to being a severe disadvantage from where you should have been. So, yeah, I see a lot of people in chat saying the game's very even. It's not like the game's over, right? But this is absolutely way more, you know, it's way better off for Reynor than it should have initially been, right? So that's how you got to look at it. Like, yeah, of course the game's not just going to end off that damage, but it just gives Reynor that slight edge, and that just makes, you know, earlier attacks that little less scary. And stuff like that, right? And it just means that Dream may be forced into something more kind of macro-focused. He is actually going to build an armory here. So an armory coming in, and he's going to try and catch Reynor a bit off guard. Let's see if that works out. Come through, scan goes down. Creep Tumor takes just a shot of damage there initially. Back around the right, just gonna see these Hellions, the Reaper coming through. Viking sat overhead, and all of this collecting together in the middle of the map at the moment. As we do have our Marines gonna come through as well, so they're gonna begin unloading from this medevac. Hellions morph into Hellbats, and it looks as though this might be time to go. As we stim on forward, Marines coming through here. And they're already putting some damage out onto these queens. Drones are going to back away. Bane's on the way, though. So Reynor has what he needs to deal with this, just not yet. He needs just a little bit more time, and that's what these queens are going to try and buy for him. As these Hellbats push up this ramp, and in we go. Banes do finish, and the units were not ready for them to be done. So they take a bit of splash and chasing down. One more Hellbat falls. Medevac's under fire. It has to back away, which means no more healing. And this is a defense from Reynor holding off this attack of Dream. And he is already droning massively behind this. Now you're going to see this worker difference open up big time. 63, about to be 68 against 49. As a third CC of Dream will not produce for a moment as it moves out into position as well. And these Lings are going to catch an SCV that tries to get ahead of itself, going into position to mine over there. So all the little things still rolling in Reynor's favor. Obviously that defense is a big part of why he will take such a severe lead from here. As Dream just goes into 1-1 upgrades, he will have an upgrade lead in this game, if only slightly, you know. 20-30 seconds sometimes is enough, you know, that's sometimes all you need. That is sometimes all you need. And goes in after that SCV, which is going to get healed up a little bit. Marines, Widow Mines, Hellbats. We'll move into the center as well. Those couple links continue back over the left. Mainline speed coming up. Melee upgrades coming through. This one Viking flies to that far left-hand side. Lings are going to have gathering up, and they're going to try and run in. Widow Mine shot hits the first. That's one of those scenarios where, like, if the Widow Mine retargets, you can hit everything. But obviously doesn't happen there as Marines are Hellbats. It's actually going to be a pretty well-denied run by as this Viking is just chasing an Overlord. Oh, doesn't get it. Last shot doesn't go off. And these things will not do much as Dream tries to push around to the top side. Lightshade's a pretty good map for Zerg in the sense of it is a smaller map, so rush distances aren't as good, but it does have that kind of left side, right side expansion dynamic, so if the Terran is really pressuring one way, you can just push creep out the other way and take a hatchery that side instead. And the counterattack and run-by potential on this map is pretty good too. So we'll see seeing a lot of stuff that revolves around that here, I imagine, from Reynor. Dream, just smaller attacks in the moment, going to clean out some of this creep. I like that. Obviously, clearing up space to make your future attacks that much better is always worthwhile. Sims forward there. Does he have another scan? Doesn't really need it. He's already pushed back a lot of the creep basically to on top of the hatch. I mean, it would be nice to do a little more, of course. Don't get me wrong, but wasn't necessary. I feel like he's already putting himself into a playable position out in that direction as Wouldn't mind just gets a single Zergling. I'll get cleaned up pretty quick. At the same time, we push into the middle of the map. And we continue with this Widowmine production, obviously very different to that tank style that we saw in 2000 Atmospheres. This is Dream getting caught a little bit by the flank there and unable to really cope with it properly. Vane setting up. Marine, Hellbat, a Widowmine to the top side. All of that continuing here. There's a few Marines going to stim in. A Queen in some trouble, taking some damage. Doesn't quite go down. Healed up a whole bunch by those transfusions. At the same time, now a bailing little attack on a Widowmine. So that's held off as well. Dream's doing a good job of making sure run-bys really get the bare minimum. They're being dealt with very well, very aptly. He's not taking any kind of damage from this. So, very well handled by Dream so far. Very well handled by Dream so far. Now we've got to see 3 Widowmines. They're going to make their way around over here. Widowmine burrows up, and that's going to be... yeah, just a drone picked off, basically. Another drone gets picked up as well. The medevac's still going to fly away. Around the top side we go. Medevacs, Marines, pressing on forward. Widowmine burrows up. Doesn't actually go down right away. Will get its connection off as those Balins all go down in a blaze of glory. Pushing through. Creep spread being cleaned out as well. Pushing on through. Making some progress over here. Really pushing this area back as we're going to see Medevac's going to lift up. Widowmine's connecting on a ton of these Zerglings. Now the rest of our Bioforce going to unload to that far right-hand side. That's going to be seeing the Ling Bane Force continue to collect together. Bio pushing in. These Widowmines are connecting once again as these other couple of Banelings want to roll on through to this. Marines being picked away at. Drones going down elsewhere. I mean, I love what Dream is doing. He's playing a very active game. And, with an active game where you're also not allowing Reynor to deal damage to you, it's been pretty successful. I mean, Dream is, well, he's got a massive army. Worth mentioning, Reynor has 100 drones, which I think might be, he's actually going to 105 drones. I feel like he might have lost track of his work account. Because 105 drones is maybe just a few too many right here. These bio units in a bit more trouble. Marines unloading up to that high ground once again. And still just pushing forward. Try and get a little bit more done. So, pressing forward still. The Ling Bane army still setting up. The rest of the Widowmines are going to burrow, and these Banes are going to connect in towards those Banelings. A couple Widowmines are going to get blown up by those Banes as well. So, doing a decent job of this. On the top side of the map, a few more Marines get picked off as well. As one more Widowmine doesn't quite get to connect there just yet. Well, I mean, it's been all about Dream. As he pushes through the center, it's going to be more creep going down if he scans up this top side. He is very far on creep right now, but of course he's got the medevacs to just lift up and evacuate with. Of course, this has all been building up to Reynor getting to Lurkers. We've been seeing that Lurker Den build, and he's going double Lurker upgrades because he went double Lurker Den, which I didn't want to point out because I didn't want to call out as being a mistake when it might actually be for double upgrades, which it is. So double upgrade is going to get the Lurkers in-game in a moment, and that's going to be a huge momentum swing. This just stops a lot of what Dream has been doing much more easily. And all of a sudden, Reynor's going to have that better defense set up, and there's, the entire rest of this game can really swing on that defense. We have seen absolutely the most effective unit at changing the pacing of a TVZ in recent times has absolutely been the Lurker. As Ling's trying to run in here, the Bajin try and kite back. Another Lurker or two continue to come across. That's our bio units sticking around, unload, reload. Couple Hydras being chased away. Is just going to be seeing all of these Zerglings are still being picked off as well. A lot of this Bioforce is still taking damage. As we do in the top right-hand side, seeing the rest of the Bio. Collecting with the Medivacs also. Adrenal Glands coming through. Plus 1 missiles and plus 3 Carapace on the way. And the rest of this army from Dream going to start making its way out to the upper left-hand side of the map. So, reinforcing, but again, it's going to be difficult now. Lurkers are set up everywhere. And Dream just probably has to slow this game down himself. He's honestly done a good job of putting himself into a really good position. Take advantage of that now, Dream. Don't try and get too fancy, right? Take advantage of that and try and put yourself in a spot here where you can realistically, you know, take advantage of all the rest of it. Bio coming through again. These Lurkers are going to put some damage out. Bio gets chased away. The Queen in the center gets taken down as well. SCVs dropping off down on the bottom side. Those Banes crashing through. 16 workers just got killed. So finally Reynor will be able to be aggressive. You know, the Lurkers providing him safety elsewhere allows him to also focus his own attacks around the map. And you can see Dream the switch into the siege tanks try and deal with this. And as he's trying to deal with that switch into tanks, again, that's eating up money that isn't going into stuff like ghosts or libs and things that are really kind of, you know, good at dealing with these Lurkers. Feels like these Lurkers really came out of nowhere from Dream's perspective, and he's like, oh, I see, kind of thing, you know? Tank Siege is going to put some damage out on those Spore Crawlers here. Looks like we're going to stem on forward. There's a Lurker going to get taken down. We're going to jump in on top of other Lurkers here as well, so those Lurkers being picked off. Other Zergling's going to start streaming through. That Hatcher in the top side gets taken down, and pulling this back. Morlings trying to run in on top of this. Dream, good push, able to deny a base. Reynor has good bases on the bottom side. The Lurker drops into the main base to deal damage and to be annoying, forcing the remnants of this mineral line to stop mining at the moment. Just going to take away from Dream's economy in a slight way. But it'd be nice to see those Lurker drops elsewhere. Some other mineral lines are obviously a lot more healthy than that main base. As Dream is going to try and push the main. Units are kind of here in the main base. He's just going to have to lift back up. I mean, to be fair, the siege tank on the low ground is putting in some serious work right now. 27 kills. He's been racking up the damage just there, as now these Lurkers are going to try and get in on top. And, well, Dream's going to try and start dropping on top. And this game's getting chaotic as Reynor's going to run down this ramp. I think that's going to be it. At 27+ kill, siege tank goes down. And Dream is going to be cleared out of the top position. He evacuates with some units. Low HP medevac, something to be very careful of. He is still expanding, remember. He is still setting up economy and setting up bases and all that good stuff. Lost out down over here, but is still, it's like I say, I still don't mind his eco. What's the actual income looking like? Massively in Reynor's favor. But of course, resources lost is massively in Dream's favor, so you're making up for not mining as efficiently as you so often do in TVZ, right? This is just the dynamic of TVZ in general. Flings into the center, Marine goes down. Couple tank shots firing, Ling's taking more damage. These couple other tanks are going to get sieged up, and just going to be seeing this Bioforce of Dream going to continue to chase Reynor away. Up to that top side, those Lurkers are going to burrow. Over to the bottom left, these Lurkers hold position. Oh no, Reynor is going to get a ton of units here as Dream sees it way too late. And now he barely even had the units initially to actually push those Lurkers back and to punish them for that play. Reynor's going to collapse in on the right-hand side as well. And he is just going to go diving on through, getting on top of this planetary fortress. And these SCVs are going to start dropping. Dream played a pretty great game, but man, Reynor is so scary once he gets to those Lurkers. I feel like Dream was so heavily banking on the ability to stop Reynor getting to those Lurkers, right? You know, he was so heavily relying on that not... And this is what I get. That's what I woke up for yesterday. Amazing. Alright, top left-hand side, he's going to get proxied. The red Zerg player in the upper left-hand corner is going to be Reynor. As in the bottom right, our blue Terran is Dream. Let me get this game number 4 underway. Yeah, what's up, Roddy? I asked, is this what living with Roddy does to you? And he said, no, this is what happens after I've streamed and read Twitch chat for too long. Oh, dear. So yeah, just Just out of nowhere as well. Amazing. Reynor is going to catch this Proxy Rax up to the top side of the map. Is he? No! He turned it back down! Misses the 2 racks. Alright, so Dream gets off to at least a decent start here with the 2 racks not being seen. Not being scouted out. That's a win. Okay. As that Overlord makes its way down to the bottom right then. And obviously, Dream will eat through these minerals and give himself access to the base of Reynor. So this is obviously not too great of a start. Second SCV comes over. I'm just going to be seeing the first bunker going down now. Here's the thing. It's a pool first. So there's Lings already here. And Dream's going to be kind of sad about this as this pool first comes into action. And this is why pool first is pretty good. Insta-cancel on the bunker, which was already coming up quite far away. Now we're going to bunker up a little bit closer, but more Lings on the way out. There are 3 Marines at the moment. What I really like about pool first, usually when you kind of play against a T-Rex, is the ability to go into like a road drone really quickly. Reynor will not do that. He's just going to go Ling drone into this, so he needs to make sure this bunker doesn't get up. If this bunker gets up, this is really bad, and he is going to stop it. If the bunker gets up, you're probably actually just going to lose the game, because if you're committing to, to this sort of pull, and the bunker goes up, when you've also got that pool first set up, he is not in a good spot, so yeah, bunker has to be shut down here, which it is. As that few Marines is going to be pressing in, just going to go jump on towards the Queen. I mean, Lings, slow Lings. I mean, this is obviously not the best situation. Not sure if Reynor wanted to full-on run those Lings at the Marines there, because now you actually lose out on a lot of them. A third Queen does show up, though, so Queen count is pretty decent, but something you're going to have to be cautious about, right? You have to be a little careful of what is going on here. Just going to see those other Marines going backwards and forwards a little bit, putting some pressure out. Yeah. Well, Reynor obviously in a pretty comfy spot now. At the same time, Dream is already expanding back at home, so he's at least going to try to get up to a natural. Obviously, factory builds. This was just 2 racks, so you do take gas and you tech behind this. Additional workers on the way in. That Zergling speed coming up, and a couple of Hellions just going to be popping out in a moment or two. So there's a couple of Hellions going to be finishing up on this factory, and at least that will stop you from kind of being too aggressive with Lings. Although Reynor didn't have Ling speed started at all here, so it's not really too much of a. Dream doesn't know it, but it's not actually really something he needs to be concerned about. But obviously, you want Hellions anyway. He's going to go for what is becoming just the typical kind of follow-up to a 2-Rax, which is drop 4 Hellions and see if they can get some damage done. As this Overlord goes down just before the medevac is seen. I mean, that's good. He's actually not just going to drop 4 Hellions. He's going to bring the Marines across the map. Okay. So against a no Ling speed setup, maybe this has some potential as well. Let's see what Dream can do here and see if he can maybe get himself back into this game that kind of did not go so well with the initial 2-Rax setup. This is going to be seen on Hellions. Going to go around the left-hand side. It's going to be having the Hellions is going to drop through. So the Hellions do drop in. Natural is currently barren of drones. 1 drone goes down. Obviously, Hellions get in trouble. They should just lift up and get out of there. The Marines are just sat stationary waiting for a chance to maybe do something, but they won't find anything. So unfortunately, in the end, the drones are ineffective at doing anything at all. The Queen gets a couple more shots off. There's medevac still being chased away out to the side. It's going to pull back around the top here. There's that Balin nest on still just coming through. A few additional drones on the way in. A few Marines and a couple of Hellions there to help push the Queens back as well. And that's going to be the Hellions not going down. Turned at the last possible moment to survive. Medevac staying up and running. Now, Stimpak's about to be done. We are 3 CC in it as Dream, so it is going to be not looking to end the game immediately. He is looking towards the 3rd He's looking towards some additional stuff there. As this medevac comes back over, gonna start to unload a few of these Hellions then. So Hellions coming, Hellions, Marines. Gonna start to unload a few of those Marines. So everything else continues up the left-hand side. So up the left-hand side we will go. Pushing on through, gonna have a few of these creep teamers that can be picked away at. So a little bit of creep spread starting to go down. Gonna pull it back a little bit. These are the queens coming through. This medevac shows up, and there's just a tank and a few Marines to be worried about as well. I like this little reinforcement position, right? That tank over here, especially if you're just going to work in this area, push the creep back for the moment. It's a nice little place to be, unless, I guess, Lings can still come down here and wrap around it quickly, but took a few shots initially, and honestly, those Lings are going to get melded. They're not going to get on top of the tank. The Hellions obviously helping from the low ground. The Lings on the low ground end up melting as well, and Reynor has just picked a couple of fights, which he maybe shouldn't have picked. Those queens do get pushed away to the top just slightly. A couple medevacs, low HP, having to back away for the moment, and the rest of these queens just spreading out to the left. We do have more of these Lings out to the right side as well. They're going to come running down as this tank is going to be sieging. Marines are going to stim. I'm just going to be pushing the rest of those Zerglings back now. Bane speed not far from finishing. That'll make life a bit easier for Reynor here, as he's obviously going to be pretty far back on the upgrades. That's okay, because Bane speed should help him to survive. Doesn't have to rely as much on the Lings initially. What's Dream's next step? Obviously hitting 5 racks now. Armory on the way. It just looks like he's just going to play Siege Tank production and continue with the racks. I mean, we'll guess we'll see basically the big question. Are we going to go to 8 racks? Or are we going to go to a 4th base? And that's something which we'll have answered fairly soon. Because it really is kind of the next thing on the production tab in terms of structures. You know, CC or extra racks. So, once unit production ceases up a little bit, we'll get to see exactly what Dream's plan wants to be to try and save himself in this series against Reynor. He's taking a volley off of a siege tank there initially, just going to be seeing the Lings. Still with the Banes gathering up in that center. A few of these creep teamers going down, and he wanted to try and push into the Ling Bane there, decides not to in the end. The Queen's showing up and pushing those Marines back. A little bit more of this creep spread continues to go down. This Queen's coming through, more transfusions coming in. Marine's going to have to back it up. Liberator sieging. There's a lot of Lings on the right. Getting set to roll as well. Going to go for a run down to the front. So, running down over here. The rest of these Banes coming through. One Ling at the front gets taken down. Just going to be seeing the Marines still settling beneath that Liberator. And here we go. Oh no, the Lings! The Banes! They're not even going to have to crush through the depots. That's a problem. Oh no. That is not what you want to have happening. As SCVs are actually not going to go down the left side. Only 7 on the right. Somehow this run-by does not do that much. So the reason why it doesn't do that much is because A, obviously traded with units, which actually isn't that bad because it's 1-1 against 0-0. So in that moment, you're actually trading pretty well as Dream. And yeah, that's why that run-by is just not as effective as it should be. Pretty incredible, as we do see a cancel on a few Banes down over here. The Banes over here really hit on Marines before getting to the mineral line, and kind of the same story here. These Marines tanked a couple of shots. There's only a few Banelings left to connect for 7 SCVs, so very well handled out of Dream. Keeps them alive in a situation that could have just gone so much worse. Could have just gone so much worse. Now, we do see a 4th base in position as Reynor is right there to deny this from actually becoming a planetary, at least for the moment. So, we'll force the cancel. That should be a lift, and there it is. So we cancel, we lift. At the same time, Marines on the left-hand side setting up the tank, firing away, hitting those Queens a little bit. Gonna push forward. These Queens taking quite a lot of damage, and yeah, the back and forth kind of continuing just slightly here. That Marine's going to hold out now. Ling Bane from Reynor wants to run in from the right-hand side. So in we go. Ling Bane from the right. Ling Bane from the top. We crash on through. A couple of these tanks already taken down as our Marines are going to lift up into the medevacs. They are going to escape away over to the left. Reynor does jump on that. He's got money in the bank, by the way. It's seen something we've noticed of Reynor as of late. He's had a few times where, especially when he was playing against Clem and stuff, we noticed it, that he's been floating a bit of money. He hasn't had the lava to spend that cash. And that seems to be becoming a problem for him here in this game as well as Dream. Oh, gonna have some Banes connecting into him, so a bunch of those Marines going down. On the right side, a few more Marines coming through. A couple creep teamers being picked off. Lings are going to run in. Marines jump into the medevac now. It's just going to be seeing the rest of our Ling Bane coming through. Come back around the top. Ultraless Gavin building up on the natural expansion, and still just seeing our army split across the left, split across the right. And Dream has got 2-2. It's not really going to be at an advantage. I mean, Reynor's 2-2 is finished up now as well. I'm just trying to think this out loud in my head, kind of what Dream's aiming for here is that's a huge Ling run by onto just a set of depots. I mean, Reynor's going to lose at least one of these topside bases. He will get in here, right? And he's got a few Banelings to come with it. I mean, just siege tanks is not what you want at home because the Ling count is just fantastic against them. Here comes a lot of the bio showing back up. Are the Banelings used? No, the Banes are still there. They're just going to backward the Lings. As 12 o'clock base goes down, this forward Rich Vespine attempt will deny as well. I think I was out of position anyway, so that's maybe Dream doing Reynor a favor. Although no cancel doesn't help. Banes coming through, a little bit of damage being done. The Lings, the rest of them trying to jump in on top and trying to do a little bit extra as well, but to not really, again, too much success. All Lings head back out that left-hand side. Everything joining up in the bottom left-hand corner. We've got some bioforces from Dream going to move through the center of the map. So it's interesting because what Dream did, he's kind of put this down to 4 base on 4 bases. And in putting this down to 4 bases each, it's actually not bad for Dream in that regard. I just wonder if it's going to be enough, as Reynor will get that left side base up here fairly soon, so he is back up to 5. Jim's doing a really good job of controlling the creep spread on the right side of the map. I just worry that the left side of the map is going to be his real problem as time passes by. Now, we are going to have an advantage to the upgrades again here from Dream. He's already finishing +3 attack, about to have that armor upgrade too. So back on the upgrade advantage there, and that will also help even with the chitinous plating of the Ultras being out. Now, any armor advantage you can get, or attack advantage over the armor of the Ultras, is going to be big. So until +3 carapace is done, those Ultras may still not be quite as good as they want to be. All of these Lings trying to run by again, caught a good chunk of bio down here, but the bio on the right side is obviously in very high numbers. And there's nothing really that can be done over on that side as bio still pushes through, coming all the way out to the left. And we're just going to be making the way around there as the siege tank comes through the center. Lingbane Ultra going to move forward as well. Ling's going to jump on that. The tank gets picked off. And this is what Reynor is so often so good at, just being everywhere, right? Just continuing to test this position on the right side, see if he's ever going to get the chance to really push through there. Now he's going to jump on this left side army as well. There's a lot of Lings and there's not a lot of Marines. Marauders and tanks, they just don't deal with Lings very well. As the, the tanky, yeah, the Marauders, sure, but they don't actually put out damage to Lings very easily at all. Reynor is going to get pushed back in the end there as Queens. Oh no, they are going to get there for the transfuse on the Ultra. Only got one off though. And so the Ultra still does go down as it got caught trying to come around the corner. We're going to send this hero Ultralisk in. Reynor's actually a little bit down on army supply right now. He's hurt and he's got money to spend, but once more, lava is an issue. He only had 5 lava in the bank right there, so lava is a problem for Reynor as Dream keeps pushing through, and maybe Reynor has just traded a little too badly recently. Queen Transfusion is going to try and keep this Ultra alive. Dream making no progress as now Reynor is able to push back through this. The tank goes down. The Ultra on the top side's going down. Oh my goodness, I mean, it's just chaos everywhere, but I think Dream is going to keep pushing through. I think he is probably going to be able to take us to a game 5 here. These few additional Banes also continuing to roll on in. Couple tank shots going down. Ultra Fire still going, or still taking hit. Ultra still taking hits from the siege tanks as Ling's running in as well. The Marine Marauder Force still being chased away. Just going to see the couple of the libs back into the center. So other lives back to the middle of the map here now. Widowmine going to grab a few of those Zerglings as well. And there we go, a couple libs, one on the left, one in the center. Continue to push across here, another Marauder or two pushing through as well. Out on that bottom side, we've got these few Zerglings moving their way in. They're going to go for a run across, and you see those Lings there kind of jump in on those Marines and Marauders. On the left side, there's Bioforce trying to get rid of the hatchery, not quite managing it though. Not just yet at least, as Reynor comes through for the defense. He's going to get rid of the Liberator, still trying to hold his Dream. I'll tell you what, Reynor's got the base count if you can just buy the time to get money up, etc. The transfusions on these Ultras have been absolutely critical at just making Reynor's army that much better. The Queen Energy he's stacked throughout the game is a resource that's now saving him. He is out of it now, though, so he can't really rely on that much longer. He's missing detection, so these Widow Mines are going to get additional shots off. If he just had an Overseer in amongst this, that would have been a few dead Widow Mines, and his life would have been a bit easier. I kind of like that we've moved into the Widow Mines here's Dream. Definitely been a good aid. Obviously, it was very tank-focused earlier, but the Widow Mine's working well against his current composition. There goes that hatchery. Now, Reynor has elsewhere to send his drones to, so I'm not immediately worried for him in terms of money and in terms of mining. As base also gets out to a 5th. I mean, this is 18 minutes in. A 5th base is overdue, really. So it's really good for him to get that base up and running. That's really important. And that's exactly what Reynor wants to deny. He knows the importance of Dream getting to additional bases. So he's going to make a play for it. Now, Dream's seen it, so he's bringing units across. This will be a lift up. It will be a few SCVs down. These couple mines might fall as well. Bane's crashed in, a little bit unnecessary, but gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, of course, it's a high-paced game, right? Mistakes will be made. Not everything will be controlled correctly. As you come back through, this Ling Ultra Crane Force there to push the Liberator back, picking away at that as well. That's going to be seen that Bio Army coming back around. Bio on the right side as these Banes try and push in on top of these Marauders and Marines, trying to get on top of that. The Ultra's coming through as well, and that is going to be an additional Baneling picked off. Make that another one. On the left-hand side, there's Ultra trying to show up. Trying to get something done. Those Lings are coming in. They're going to get a couple more units. On the right, these Ultras picking off some more Marauders also. It looks as though Reynor's finally just broken through Dream. Breaking that position on the left side. A lot of Dream's units running around the right. Does clean up Reynor's attack, but has Reynor just won out too heavily on the left. Now, the army supplies are still pretty similar, but now you see Dream obviously being caught here, there, and everywhere. Reinforcements walking into Ultras. Units on the map turning back into Ultras. And just none of this is, synchronized from Dream, and that's the issue. As Reynor will back it up here. 20 minutes deep on Ramanda's side. I was convinced that this game was done and dusted, but the Queen transfusions really bought Reynor time that I didn't think was going to be possible to get in this game. In the slightest, honestly. Not in the slightest. On the top, we do kill off a 12 o'clock hatchery, so a pick off there from Dream. As he needs to creep to 9 economy of Reynor. Look at the income. It has been in Reynor's favor. Of course, a lot of these trades have been in Dream's favor. The typical TVZ dynamic that I've already mentioned at least once in this series. It's shown itself once more, as on the bottom side, these Lings are going to get picked off by the Bio units, so they are going to go down. And Lingbane Ultra just going to come back across the top side as well. That hatchery in the front doesn't set up just yet. The Bio is still pushing to the bottom left-hand side. Going in for this hatchery. It's going to get taken down. The Ling's running through too. These medevacs are going to load up, and we're going to take a turn around the bottom of the map, so cleans up, goes to attack. Now, Dream has bounced back. Army supplies are dead even here. 110 to 112. Split the difference. I mean, here we go. Ling's Ultra is going to crash on in again. Reynor still needs to be careful with his efficiency. The Planetary Fortress is now up on the right. He's going to send a Lingbane Ultra cohort to try and take that down. Once again, looking to deny that right side position, knowing how important that base is for his opponent and how eager he will be to make sure that can't have anything happen to it. He's going to crash into SCVs. Some of the SCVs pulled to repair. Others actually pulled back to stay out of range so that the, basically they wouldn't all get blown up by Banes at the same time. He does end up with the base killer and a lot of workers. And that might just be the economy loss that Dream now can't cope with. Down to 33 workers in the game. That fresh base that was just giving him a new lease on life. And look at what that does to the income. Zoom straight back to the upper side in favor of Reynor. He was rebuilding that bottom left base as well. And he has also got that 12 o'clock back up and online, so a lot of what Reynor had denied to him, he's already got reset, while it's going to take Dream a lot longer to get that reset. Unless he sends an orbital to those bases. You don't want an orbital on that base, though, because it's just going to be easily denied by Lings. Without the planetary defense, you don't even have to commit Banelings or anything to deal damage over there. So then you're either going to have to put units there, or you're going to have to just deal with Ling run-bys. It's just not good, right? It's just not a good situation. And as you see, Dream continues to be pushed away. A couple of Widow Mines are going to get burrowed up. One Widow Mine connects. The other one goes off and hits a few Queens. Now the Widow Mine's actually doing some good damage again. No Overseer in this fight, as Reynor's trying to invest in a couple of Infestors. And Dream is back into the army supply advantage. This game still in the balance, still maybe going to swing into Dream's favor. Dream has got a bottom side base up, by the way. He's moved his main orbital over here. I actually don't mind this because Reynor's bases are down here, so not only can Dream attack down here, he'll be defending his base as well, which allows you to get away with the orbital a little bit better than if this was on the right-hand side as an orbital. So I love that decision, switching the location of his base. Obviously, if he does get pushed back here and, you know, momentum is gained, then obviously Reynor will get on top of that base, but that's the risk you're taking. You're really banking on your ability to be able to, you know what I mean, like, you're banking on the ability that your attack is going to be successful, which it is, because these Ultras are now being baited too far forward, and Reynor's army supply is absolutely hurting. And the 32 SEV Terran player has got an army coming across this map that is terrifying. Now, these Medivacs are drained of energy. Those Infestors could be absolutely huge. A couple fungal growths in this situation can change everything, given how low HP everything is and the lack of healing available. A run by from Reynor shut down in the center of the map. He's going to try and pick up a few more Marines in the middle. Just going to be seeing the few units going to try and push on through. Again, Ling run by not allowed to take place. You can see that obviously Dream is pre-splitting a little bit right now, as we're going to have, I think the Ling's going to fight this group of bio, right? I'm going to try to at the very least. Upgrades are even. On the left side, he loses out on a hatchery. Reynor has the 12 o'clock base mining, remember, so that is a positive. Army supplies getting closer together. It was, what, like a 50 difference? Now it's 30-ish. So Reynor's making some progress. What's the actual income at right now? A little bit Reynor favored. As he loses bases, it's a problem for sure. I mean, this base on the right side ain't up. It's that 6 o'clock that Dream's been able to establish that is giving him the economy for his 32 remaining SCVs to mine from. He's got 13 on this base and a lot more on the bottom. But now that Reynor's got the hatch on the top side, what I was talking about before is going to reverse. Now you don't defend this base while attacking Reynor's bases. So those Ling run-bys are going to be more effective into that mid-orbital, and you're going to have to commit units to defending that, and that could come at an expense. That Widowmine gets 13 kills in a moment like this. You can't allow for 13 kills to just go down. Infestor drops the fungal. These Ultras are super low HP, and it won't be enough for Reynor to hang on in there. We are getting a game 5 here between Dream and Reynor. We are going to a 5th and final game. It's been a bit troublesome. Alright, we're going into a final map here, and it is Beckett Industries. The veto, I believe, from Reynor, a lot of people asking, I believe the veto makes sense to be Blackburn. No, that is also seen as a bit of a terror map, so let's see what happens on Beckett. Final map. In the top right-hand side, our blue Terran player is Dream. And the bottom left, our red Zerg is Reynor. Can he hold this out? Can he make it to that next round? Let's find out. Now, just a reminder, guys, we've had a few issues with the schedule today. I just want to quickly touch on this. We were meant to originally see the winner of this versus Solar up next. That will not happen. Solar is ill. He will not be playing. Instead, we will be moving into our winners bracket. I've talked to the players. They are scheduled to start in 25 minutes, so we will have some downtime if this is a fast game. But we will have Cure versus Clem in the winner bracket. Zest here and Marine also had to move due to an issue on Zest's side. So we've been cut down to just 3 best of 5s today, so apologies for that. Just wanted to give you guys a little heads up. These things happen, you know. It's whatever. That's life. And yeah, we just gotta get on with it. So it's okay. Could be a lot worse. Hopefully Solo starts feeling better soon. For us, better for us to obviously have the players playing when they are gonna be at their absolute best. You know? Alrighty guys, let's get this going. As we get this underway, 2-2 tied up in this series. And we're just going to be seeing a hatch, gas, and spawning pool coming in. Just get this ready to go. Honestly, not the worst thing for me to have a faster day to day. As much as I would love to cast as much Starcraft as always, we'll still get to cast those matches, and it's my mum's birthday today, so having a little bit extra time to go do that sort of stuff is also a good thing. It's also positive, so maybe it was just meant to be, guys. Maybe this is the world's way of saying go do some birthday things, you know? Go eat some cake. You know, if the world wants to tell me to go eat cake, I'll go eat cake, you know? I'm down with that. Happy birthday, Woody Mom. I will let her know that you all said happy birthday. Alright, factory down in the main base as we see the Overlord moving out to the side. You see these few Zerglings of Reynor just going to come pressing forward. Just making his own advance here. This is a no Reaper opening, so you don't need to keep these Zerglings back at home like you often would. As our things get there, Command Center is going to start to morph into an orbital right now, so getting that underway. Getting that started up, and just going to be seeing those few Zerglings making their way back on down to the bottom side as well. Overlord still moving up then. Overlord speed is on the way in as well. We really just kind of sit back and wait to see what the next the next few moments bring us, guys. Yeah, a little bit of hanging around here in this game number 5. Of course, with it being Beckett Industries, it's kind of meant to be a great terror map. I guess we should talk a bit about that. A lot of ledges, short rush distances, you know, valleys, anything that the Terran can sit behind and fire across is going to be a benefit for them against the Zerg. The opening here is not going to be a 3cc. It's obviously that reactor initially into a good marine count, and now the medevac. So, it definitely feels like this is also meant to come almost with an armory. But no armory just yet. As you can see, Reynor scouting to try and figure out again what this is. So yeah, no armory, but a lot of gas in the bank. Feels like maybe there should have been one. Starts a Viking. You can see he still has gas going spare there. So that has me a little bit kind of like, Dream, what's actually your plan right now? Like, where is this actually going? A little interested to see what this turns into. Is, I mean, Hellions make their way down the bottom. I guess obviously if you just keep that gas, you can just use it for upgrades and stuff later, right? It's not the end of the world. It's just definitely a little bit off from expectation, I guess. Lings are attacking onto the front. CC is built there, so there is a wall off, so the Lings won't do much just yet on their own accord. And Sereno's about to have a Bane nest. Maybe we'll go for a little bit of a Bane bust through for some damage. This Dropper Lord scouting again, or not Dropper Lord, Speedy Lord. Scouting once again over there. As we come through, we're going to get a couple of additional creep tumors at the end. And just work your way through. Yeah, like I said, a couple of additional creep tumors always a nice addition. Anything you can take early game with these Hellions, etc. is generally going to work very well for you. As the rest of these Zerglings continue to make their way out down the right-hand side. Now the rest of these Hellions just in the middle of the map. And yeah, honestly, there's the armory on the way now. I mean, this is a very delayed armory. I mean, it feels like this was meant to hit a while ago, but now it's actually coming through when you've already transitioned in, like, siege tank production, and see what I mean? Like, to me, it doesn't all quite add up, but, well, I don't want to be the one doubting Dream, though. I always hate it when I have to be the one doubting the player. Because I want to believe there's some logic in this from Dream. I just don't see it. It's too clever for me, that's what it is. This unit's going to start pressing through, and we are going to see if the Hellbat's morphed in. A chance to see if Reynor's prepared. Now, this is 4th hatch on the left side, so this at the moment is essentially an attempt to just take down a 4th hatchery. These Queens coming in, a Baneling connecting through, hitting on a couple of those Hellbats. Queens will continue to chase units up to that top side. The Viking comes around the left, grabs the Overlord as well. Game is going to just take a few moments here. Is obviously what's going to be very interesting is once this gets into this kind of aggressive setup now from Dream. While he didn't do much early, and Reynor was able to hold his own there, this is the sort of stage of the game where Zerg should have an issue, right? These sort of marine tank attacks, where they're very choked up, there's lots of chokes to take advantage of, ledges to utilize. This is the situation where I imagine Reynor will start to be in a little bit more trouble. As these marines move through and a couple of these creep tumors are going down. Pushing forward a little bit of this group spread being cleared out, so and a few pickups. Again, the rest of the Lings around the top side. Some of this creep still being picked away at. Here comes the Ling Bane. Starting to move through. Bane's looking to try and jump in on top of this. The Marines are going to kite back into a lot of Lings, and they're going to get caught by Banelings as well. And Reynor is going to crush this attack of Dream, which is exactly what you need when it's an attack that looks like this. The rest of the Marines will join up now. And where do you go from here? I mean, Reynor takes a bit of a momentum lead. I guess one of the good questions is, where does Reynor go from here? Like, where's his next hatch? Got to be down here, right? This base, I think, is just too tough to hold. Too close to that Terran third base. I mean, Dream is just going to go into his extra command center. Reynor's the one with the upgrade leads this game, remember, as well. If he starts up 2-2 as 1-1 completes, he's going to have a couple different chances in this series to, or in this specific Game 5. He'll have a couple different chances to try and make something happen as Lings run through. A few of those Marines going to have to lift up once again. Out to the right side, the rest of these Zerglings continue to move around. The Bane's joining up as well. We'll got Marines and Medivacs up on the top side. Moving down the bottom, Marines and Medivacs making their way across. Getting themselves in a position over here to try and get something done on the top. We got these Marines going to have to lift up and back away into the Medivacs as well. So, pulling back with that. Got 2-2 upgrades coming in at the moment here on the engineering base. The factory is coming through from Dream. A lot of setup happening right now. I was going to say command center is going to go dropping down the bottom right, so we are going to get to 4 bases. Reynor's on his way to that hive, he's on his way to that lurker den. This is what we've been seeing recently. As that one Viking wants to come around the right side, so yeah, really very passive stuff. Really very passive stuff. Guys, I feel like I'm just reading the chat. I just want to clarify. So, the UI is a UI mod. This is the Game Heart UI. Talking about arrows and income arrows, that's the WCS or the Pro 2020 UI. The Game Heart mod is what gives us like workers killed and stuff like that on the side of the screen, and like upgrade countdowns, unit images on the structures, all that kind of stuff. So this is just a different UI. So Game Heart and the UI. This is actually the Game Heart UI. But it's not connected to the Game Heart mod. Hopefully that clears some stuff up. 2 different things. I use this one because I just don't like the other one. I think it looks ugly personally, so... Personal opinion, my stream. I do what I want. Reynor's APM went over 1,000 a couple of times. Yeah, I mean, rapid fire... unit production. You just have like a super high repeat rate on your keyboard so that when you produce all of your units, they just... all those units build super quickly. And so obviously you hit like a super high APM, but it's not really a realistic APM. That's why a lot of Zerg APM is kind of generally sort of said to be boosted. Now I'm not saying Reynor's not a fast player, he is a fast player. But he's also definitely not doing 500 APM. That is boosted or like... What's it called? Inflated, that's the word I'm looking for. It's inflated by the unit production of Zerg compared to a lot of the other races. This game really has been a passive one here on Baggett Industries. I know the early game was pretty, Dream getting set to attack and stuff. We obviously have had some trades. But, like, this game really slowed down as Reynor got toward lurkers and Dream just says, yeah, I just want to kind of camp out a bit. Triple abduct gets rid of 3 siege tanks. Dream's even going to start building nukes, so that seems to be the current plan of action. A missile turret will come down out the front here. I mean, anything you can do to try and zone those Vipers out, but... well, the thing is, you're not doing anything as Dream, so what, Reynor's just going to get the entirety of this map? Now, it is a small map, you know, it's only 6 bases each, similar to Oxide in that respect, where going super late game generally isn't good for Zerg because they run out of bases faster than they need to. You know, they run out of bases too quickly, but obviously if you starve the Terran down to 4 bases, then that's not really as much of an issue. Nidus is on the way up as well, so Reynor really is looking for so many different ways to try and deal damage with this. He wants to get in, he wants to try and hurt his opponent, and he wants to try and slow down anything he can with Dream, in terms of Dream trying to progress in this game, which I can get behind that. I can get behind that. Lingbane, look, the Viper going to be moving through the center, going to get a turret in the middle. A couple of tanks get abductorinioed. Once again, those tanks getting abducted, going down pretty quickly. Just going to be seeing the 3-4 SCVs going down. Just going to be seeing our lurker production still continuing through. A couple of dropper lords on the way in, and just going to be seeing our command centers continuing to come on through here. So you can CC production continues on up. Lings are going to collect together over on that left-hand side. We scan out into the middle here as well. A bunch of lurkers being seen. Figured out, etc. We move back down this bottom side. A couple of Vikings still just sat. Looking pretty funky. Hatchery on the top. One's going to run around the right side. Lurkers are going to burrow up, and you see one lurker getting picked off already. With a missile turret going down. Lurkers getting another couple of abducts off. Siege tanks being picked away at. Again, it's going to be one more tank shot going in right there. Vikings going to fire up. A couple of units going down. In the upper right, those couple of Nidus networks are also going to get the chance to finish here. So they're not going to get denied. Units will come out of these. And it is going to be Lings to begin with, and I imagine, okay, Banes too. I imagine there's going to be a couple of lurkers, but so far, not the case. And it's just going to be seeing our bio units continue through. Niduses are going to get picked off, but Overseer goes down on the right-hand side. Going to be seeing more Niduses as well, just, again, setting up kind of positions to move around everywhere. I love that Reynor is doing this. You know, I mentioned what happens if you don't obviously run out of base on this map. So mine as much as you can. Go take the Terran side of the map. This is really something I think you actually maybe need to do on this map, on a 6-base map as a Zerg, to really just increase your chances of winning. Of course, Reynor's, you know, bank is absolutely crazy. He's got so much money to spend. And he'll use it just trying to batter down Dream's defenses here. Because obviously Dream does not have a lot of gas to rebuild with as well, so if Dream does start losing stuff, it's going to be pretty darn expensive. These lurkers look like they might go down as they get left here. The Hydras move forward, but so many tanks in the background. Reynor loses a ton of stuff, but of course, as mentioned, the bank is huge, and he'll use that bank to try and bring this back into play. A little lurker drop in the main got cleaned up, doesn't look like it's got anything done really. As Reynor still has that bait. I mean, right now, these hatcheries are even just acting as command center blockers, right? Can't land your CC and drop a few mules, because you got to deal with the hatch first, so Reynor doesn't have to worry about denying that CC until he gets the notification, hey, look, he's trying to clear out that base. You know, now you can actually look at maybe probably denying this up here, you know? That kind of thing. And obviously these hatcheries just act as lava farms as well, so you get more and more lava out of this. All the way throughout. Uh-oh. Just going to be seeing these lurkers getting burrowed up. We are going to see Ling Bane going to try and brute force its way through here. The Banes are going to get out of range of the tanks. That might be a dead CC, honestly. I think the CC is not as worthwhile as the SCVs, though. Yeah. The SCVs are the better target, because if you go for the CC, it gets replaced instantly, right? At the end of the day, does that matter? No. There's other CCs nearby. But denying the actual SCVs, that's actually going to be something that you then have to reinvest into to rebuild here as Dream, costing you a little more and instantly affecting the economy of the game. Alright, Lings are going to come streaming on through, looking to try and get in on top of this. It's going to be seeing the Ghost coming around as well. Reynor still seems like he's in control. We're finally going to see a nuke. We didn't see this. I mean, we saw it building a long time ago, right? But we've not actually seen one used until just now, unless I'm really blind. First nuke of the game will not land on anything in particular. Cancels a building drone or something. Or maybe a building zergling. Overseer going to track that ghost, and it will go down. Unfortunately, not much else it can do. Run, Ghosty, run! No, he's dead. Alright, a couple more nukes on the way. This is obviously Dream's way to try and take some map control, get some harassment done. He will finally establish the 12 o'clock, but with Reynor mining this right side base and essentially taking this base away from Dream, I'm not even sure Reynor mines Dream getting up to 5 bases here, because 5 bases probably just ain't enough in the long run. This is actually just a link flood through to try and get on top of tanks, and to be fair, it's kind of working. Reynor using the ledges to his own advantage here, which I really love. You know, yeah, you gotta spend some money on getting units into these positions, but then the lurkers get a burrow from that low ground, and they actually have quite an impactful time. Overseers in the main base going to drop a double Nidus here as well. Again, just another attempt to pull Dream around while Dream doesn't necessarily have everything he needs to make this work. Marines and tanks going to try and go in towards those Niduses, and they will deny them, but it draws units out of position. We're going to attempt to nuke the bottom right-hand side. Reynor's going to attack the upper side of the map. Looks like he's not quite noticed the nuke on the bottom here just yet, so this nuke looks like it might land. We're going to have to watch this, I'm sorry, elsewhere. Boom! 16 drones. As this fight happens, these lurkers getting sniped down slowly but surely. I mean, Dream has no rebuild money, though. He's out of cash. He's got nothing left. 42 SCVs in the game. 4th base not currently mining. 5th base, no SCVs on it. I mean, he just does not have... Oh, no. No! The Lings are going to find all of the fresh mules! Not like this, Dream! Oh, he needs their minerals so badly here. Denies another Nidus in the main, but Reynor really is just absolutely freaking everywhere at the moment in this game. Absolute chaos. Nidus into the main. Gets set up. You see more Lings. Greatest Spy Lurkers all on the way through here. The Nidus coming through as well. Here comes our army. Going to jump in on top. Tanks are going to get taken down. Couple ghosts being picked off. The Lings are going to stream through. SCVs and Mules still in trouble. The rest of these lurkers going to burrow up again, and that's just going to be the breaking point. That is where Reynor wins this series and will stay alive in the WardiTV Spring Championship. Reynor will move through the lower bracket. He will play against Solar. That will not be today.